Joining me now is Avi Melamed, a Middle East geopolitical intelligence analyst. Excuse me. Thanks very much for joining us, Avi.
Thank you for having me, Roger.
When you hear about the news today, another commander was taken out, Hamas commander, is this going to build, or are cooler heads going to prevail, do you think?
Well, I mean, considering the large events that you mentioned before, and particularly, of course, the Iranian threat and Hezbollah's threat to attack Israel, I think this, what we say today in the West Bank, in the city of Tulkarem, the elimination of this terror cell is, relatively speaking, on the sides of the news, to put it this way.
And what about with the U.S. going in? Do they know something that we don't know? They're bringing warships into that area. Is that concerning?
Well, the U.S. Secretary of Defense sent a very clear message to the Iranians and said, look, if you're going to attack Israel, we're going to defend Israel. You could figure or assume that sending a U.S. military force to the region has two major purposes, either to proactively defend Israel or to try and to deter the Iranian from launching a massive attack on Israel.
Do we think we will see a response by Iran?
Well, it's very likely that we'll see a response. I know that people are kind of like contemplating whether it's going to be an Iranian direct reaction or one of the proxies of the Iranians or some of the proxies of the Iranians. But I think that it's important to understand something simple. It doesn't matter which the finger that squeezed the trigger. In the end, all the paths go to Tehran. So in the end of the day, we should expect, according to the threats and intimidations made by the Iranians and the proxies for the last couple of days, we definitely should expect a significant attempt to attack Israel with all the ramifications that come along with that.
And will it be something that Israel can tolerate, or are there genuine fears right now, as opposed to the last time, that we could actually see an Israeli retaliation and then it builds even more?
Well, it's very much depend, Roger, of course, on the outcome of such an attack. The challenge here is that once you launch a missile and you are targeting whatever you're targeting, you don't really know exactly what's going to happen in the other side. Just a reminder, a week ago exactly, the Hezbollah shot a rocket, ending up the killing of 12 Jewish kids in a soccer field. So actually, we are looking at a very fluid situation because it could easily deteriorate in a slippery slope, resulting in a massive expansion of the fire across the region. So to a large extent, it's a little bit, in a way, a Russian roulette. Obviously, Israel is taking all the measurements needed to prepare for such an attack and to defend itself. But we should take it very seriously because, as I said before, you never ever know exactly what will be the outcome and what will be the dynamic that such an outcome will result in later.
And what does all this mean right now with what's happening with Gaza itself? Does this mean things may calm down there, or is it going to continue as is?
Well, there are conflicting opinions. Some say it's going to actually negatively impact the whole negotiation between Hamas and Israel regarding the hostages. Some say it's the opposite. They say that it may boost the process of negotiations between Hamas and Israel. But I would say that once we will be post that upcoming stage of further escalation, I would expect to see some positive impact in the context of the Israel-Hamas negotiations, hopefully leading finally to implementation at least of the first stage of the deal that was actually adopted by Israel and the United States and was offered to Hamas. But again, there are many moving parts, sort of speaking, and so we'll just have to see how things will evolve.
Okay. Avi, thank you as always for your insight.
Thank you for having me.
Avi Melamed is a Middle East geopolitical intelligence analyst.